Hey everyone, CCC Genesis here. You know, I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, is make the deck profile for the top 8 Lich deck that I did with in the FoW Festival a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, this is pretty much the real time where I could have done so. I was actually very happy about the FoW Festival. It was very nice. I met a lot of nice people. My first ever top 8, I knocked out the Chimini player, unfortunately. I was actually considering giving the top 8 to the Chimini player if I could top 8, but so I took the top 8 spot, and it was very nice. It was very exciting, my first ever top 8 in an actual event. So now I have the nice invites to the Ramen Circuit series whenever it happens. Hopefully it happens, well, it'll happen next year, we know that much for sure. Well, anyway, I've been wanting to make the deck profile for quite some time, give you guys my thoughts and build ideas for Lich. I honestly consider Lich to be very strong with Altar and everything like that, especially the Lich Resonator. I love the Lich Resonator. They're very strong. It's a weaker version of Eternal Witness from Magic the Gathering, but it's very strong in itself, being able to make your opponent discard a card or able to add a Resonator to your hand from your graveyard. You can even add itself back, so you constantly just keep adding Lich back, so it'll at least have a 7/7 body every turn. You just do Corrupt and then harvest Lich back when she dies, or do double Corrupt, either one like that, or double Harvest. It adds a lot of versatility inside the Lich Resonator and makes her very strong, in my opinion. So we're gonna go over the main deck first. Well, stone deck first. Wow, I haven't. It's 14 basic stones and then 4 null magic stones. We just do a lot of basic ramp here. The Lila Altar combo gives you a lot of basic ramp. Simple enough, right? Not really much have to go over here. The null magic stone is just the ability to produce red for Satan. Unfortunately, the 2 damage does not proc Satan, unfortunately, but it does proc Lucifer, which I guess is alright. So we'll go over to main deck. For Lila, she is the main enabler of the deck, being able to ramp ahead of your opponent. The faster you're able to ramp, the more you're able. The amount of stuff you could do is extraordinary. Even when you're able to play Lila, ramp into Lich, harvest Lila, play Lila, sack Lich, grab back Lila, play Lila again. So you get even more stones, and then you get another easy Altar going. She's the main enabler for Altar, the main enabler for the deck, essentially. Probably the best card in this. Well, I probably have to say probably the best card in the deck, obviously. It's the best early game card in the deck. Altar is being the best card in the deck. 4 Fiery Angel of Vengeance. This card is very good. It performed well. Unfortunately, during the stream, I was an idiot and kept forgetting that I had a Fiery Angel of Vengeance in the graveyard. So basically, whatever I did, don't do what I did in the. I should have been using these in the graveyard to get rid of the Arjunon, to use them to get rid of the cat. I just kept forgetting that I had them in the graveyard, and I was like, if I just remembered I had to look in my graveyard, I could have just won those games a lot easier, honestly. But Fire Angel of Vengeance was able to cantrip himself. The red, filtering for red is not the important part, just being able to cantrip himself and then use himself for discard fodder for Lucifer, or be able to pay it to life for Satan and then -4 something is very invaluable. The minusing defense is a very valuable asset to the deck. Getting rid of blockers, getting rid of problematic cards like the cats, Algernon, etc. Unfortunately, you can't get rid of Dark Alice. But Dark Alice isn't really the problem here. 3 Perfect Lokis. You're going to see that I don't run any graveyard protection in this deck for Perfect Loki. And mainly just because I don't really revolve around the deck around Perfect Loki. The Perfect Loki is just a really good card in general. Not to run with Altar. The fact that I can just do an instant final battle whenever I need it is amazing. everyone was running Graveyard Hay at the tournament, so I had to be very patient with my harvesting season to make them use their form of graveyard removal first, and then use harvesting season afterwards. It's a dead card in the hand because you only have one way to fix your blue. I don't play Dark Alice in this deck. Easy edit in. If you want to play Dark Alice, go for it. I will tell you that Dark Alice makes a great addition to the deck. 3 mana transmuters. Simple color fix, same proc Satan, proc Lucifer. So you're able to easily get the same triggers to go up. Lucifer just gives you back to life essentially. Being able to color fix for blue and green is very nice because of the 3-drop Athenia and the perfect Lokis. Great well-bodied. Being able to also, if anything at worst they try to remove her, you can power mortality to her, get her back, sack her with altar with power mortality, things like that. Very strong resonator, very versatile resonator. 2 Lucifer. Lucifer was not really the main part of, like, Lucifer was very good in certain matchups. Like against Isis, I was able to essentially, I got myself up to 9,000 life, like 9,000 life or 10,000 life against Isis, and essentially I said, you're never going to kill me at this point as long as I have these Lucifers on the field, as it just constantly kept paying life to just keep gaining more life and just kept swinging essentially. They did very well against Loki machines as well in the event. Again, I just gained a bunch of life and said, you're not going to kill me unless you have, the only way you're going to kill me is Deus Ex Machina, and then you just remove anything with Deus Ex Machinas on the board so they can't get the counters when it casts Deus Ex. After that, I tried to use it against Ayu. It didn't really, like, it stalled Ayu a bit, but not even in the top 8 round. He was still able to kill me through the 2 Lucifers. And it happens, right? Sometimes you draw God. Still salty about that. 3 Athenia. Athenia is a very strong resonator. Could probably rather built around better in this deck, honestly. I could have had the green stones, or I could have had the black-green commandment to color fix for her. Otherwise, like, you just bring her back from the graveyard or out from the deck. Otherwise, she's mainly a dead draw unless you had mana transmuter. But overall, still a great resonator, one of the best resonators in the current format, in my opinion, besides Dark Alice. Being able to force your opponents to rest stones during your turn, or at the end of their turn with altar if you really want to do something like that. So they flow all their mana, then it goes away. Be able to restand your stones is the most important part, though. She's a free card essentially, giving you back your 3 stones. A combo enabler, essentially, a combo extension card. You'll see in a Vite Ramen tournament that I altered out the Athenia, went to 5-drop, and then put my 5-drop Athenia down from hand. Overall, just a great card. Being able to, I was never able to use her green effect. Her green effect is very valuable when you're just essentially doing a grind game. You could very easily deck out in this deck because you just dump a lot of cards to the graveyard essentially. So, granted, yeah, you don't have a lot of draw power, but even then, when the games are going long, you can still technically deck out. The black effect never really came up, honestly. Not a lot of people were playing the graveyard. Not a lot of people I played against were playing a graveyard game, and if they did, they were playing the Dark Alice, and they always had the Dark Alice on the field, so it didn't really matter to me anymore. Most of the time, I just used it as an 8/8 body, just restood stones, and then replayed more cards, essentially. Other than that, great card overall. One of the best cards in this format still, in my opinion. Lich, the Resurrected Cleric. Play 3 of her currently. I tried 4. 4 was too much. I kept drawing her. To be fair, yes, I think you would want to draw Lich in a Lich deck, but 3 overall I think was pretty much the best thing I could have dropped her to. just because you can keep constantly getting her back. Again, the ability to harvest. And then if you also have the 3-drop Athenia out, you can do both effects. Forgot to mention that. So you'll be able to do Harvest Corrupt and then the Harvest of Corrupt again. There's a game where I could have made the Brute Hill player drop like 6 cards. I realized I could have made him drop like 5 cards essentially if I really wanted to. But I made him drop 3 that turn, which is still good nonetheless. Overall, great card. One of my favorite cards in this cluster, honestly. Just for the fact that it's an Eternal Witness. The ability to recur Resonators in your graveyard is phenomenal. The ability to make your opponent discard a card is also phenomenal. Hand control is a very important thing in this format. Same with graveyard control. I unfortunately did not main anything Athenia to control graveyards, but Dark Alice is always there. I didn't have anything to protect my graveyard either, which was a major flaw in design, but I didn't necessarily need it all that much either, in my opinion. 3 Astemas. Astemas also combo very well with Lucifer. Just being able to constantly pay life to regain life. The 5 drain is still relevant. She's very much a finisher. And also a card that could give you reach. Reach is very important, being able to cycle through your deck. She's pretty much the only other form of card draw in the deck besides Lich, being able to add cards from your graveyard to your hand. As you constantly keep the Astema out in the field and just keep gaining card advantage, you're going to essentially win, in my opinion. She's one of the... I still love her much. Even though I've seen most lists drop her out from the deck list, I still love her. I'm with Derek. She's probably one of the better Resonators still that you could probably play as a 3-drop Resonator. Being able to just constantly drain out your opponent and then gain the life back. Drain out your opponent and then gain card advantage is insanely good. To pay 10 life to do 5 is also very relevant when you have Lucifer on the field because you just keep getting back the life regardless. It's like overall great combination of cards. To be fair, you can always take out the Lucifer if you don't like Lucifer. It's not mainly important, but it does help out in the end. Just having another recurable body. Satan, 1-drop as a 1-cost Satan. Oh, sorry, as a 1-of Satan. Just a late game bomb or just a Resonator you could play if you just don't have anything else. I've had games where I've had up to 15 fallen counters. So I just grab back like 3 big Athenias, or you just grab back like a bit small Athenia, Liches, things like that, and you just flood the field. And then you also make your opponent sack their entire field essentially. It's a great card. Takes some time to set up, obviously. If you have Lucifer, it makes it a lot easier to make the setup. If not, then it makes it more risky, which is still, again, good nonetheless. Satan's a very strong, powerful late game tool. 3 Big Girl Athenias. This is still one of my favorite Resonators of the cluster as well. The ability to... I basically love abusing the big Athenia with Alter as much as possible. I know, don't get me wrong, that people might disagree with me on the big Athenia now with Dark Alice and Alice Zeus Incarnate. Anything, you don't want them to have magic stones in the graveyard, but if you're playing Adam, they technically have the Adam Resonator in the graveyard at all times, so it doesn't really even matter what you do about that. So you might as well just make them lose advantage in a sense. The -4/-4, the -2/-2 is still relevant. The -4/-4 is extremely more relevant. The ability to make your opponent sacrifice stones and sacrifice Resonators is amazingly relevant. It's not as good against Isis because they can just sack off moon tokens. But even then, like being able just to play a 5-drop Athenia and making them sacrifice their first Isis is insanely valuable. Especially if they don't have Minerva on the field. If they don't have Minerva on the field, they will never essentially be able to keep a Resonator in the field. That's all that matters to us. Being able to there's a lot of cards that I would recommend even playing. Like Athenia's Love is a great card to be playing in this deck, which I should have been playing in my opinion. But man, trust me, man, there were so many things I wish I should have been playing afterwards. But overall, very strong Resonator. Combos off really well with Satan. If you could bring them all back with Satan with the Mass Resurrection effect, you could make your opponent lose 3 stones, sack 3 Resonators, things like that. With Alter, you can make them sacrifice. You could sacrifice her with Alter. Power Mortality her, bring her back, make him sacrifice a Resonator or Stone, or technically an entity, and then comes back, makes him sacrifice a Resonator or Stone again. And then you just bring her out with another Alter. It's insane what Athena can do. I love her so much. She's so good. And then the overperformer himself, Ugarda Loki. I didn't expect Ugarda Loki to do so much work in this event, honestly. He did extraordinarily well against the Brunhild player, being able to kill the Karuras, being able to kill throws. I even just used him to kill Isises. I used him to kill anything, really, just because if they didn't have Lorite, it was over. I just killed them. A great card overall to kill problematic cards. They killed Lancelots. That's the main reason why I brought him in, to kill Lancelots. Honestly, I didn't really want to. I hated machines. As the machines were able to establish, you essentially lost the game. So you just make them kill Lancelots, anything, essentially. Make him discard a card, which is also great. And like the fact that it kills something and it makes him discard a card is insanely valuable in this format as well, because it's less options that they have. Yes, true, they're able to choose what card they want to discard, but still, again, less options to them in the end. I hard casted this against a Chimimi player, and I said, here's a 12-18 with Bane. Deal with it. We both look at each other and it's like, it has Bane? I'm just like, yeah, it has Bane apparently. No reason whatsoever, by the way, to have Bane. It kills everything anyway, so I might as well kill anything again, right? Reason to have Bane. Gil pumps itself to a 31-31, block with it. That's all the Resonators, so now we're going to go to Spells and Additions. I play 1 Sephiroth. It's just a one-of card, cycle / maybe discard. To be fair, yes, you play more. More is good, especially when you have the Athena out. I'm going to probably edit the list to go more into a Harvest or Corrupt functionality of the deck. But again, it's an overall good card. It wasn't necessarily never needed in the deck, really. It's just a good cycle card. Just a one-of cycle. 3, March of Dead. March of Dead was probably another overperformer, being able to bring back Fire Angels and Perfect Lokis. Not Fire Angels, mainly Lilas. You just bring out Lila, sack Lila to Alter, March of Dead her back, sack her again, get more stones, get more counters essentially, or if you're late game you could just awaken the Perfect Loki into Lila and sack them for altars as well. Overall, great card. It was a very strong card. The best card in the deck, obviously, Altar. Main reason to play the deck. You can get out the Athenas. You can get out the big girl himself, the Perfect Lokis. You can get out another Athena. These are pretty much the Resonators you'll want to get out with Altar. Late game, just kill them off. Board control, more tempo. It's the reason why this deck's able to function, honestly. This deck lives and dies. Well, it could live without Altar, but it's so much better with Altar than without Altar. And then another combo enabler. Came out in Life and Death. This base, I never actually used it. Well, no, I used it a lot, but there was a point in time where I was told that you could have just done... if I had Altar with Lila, I could have done Path of Purgatory, send Athenia to the graveyard, commanded her out, reset my 3 stones, continue playing on, things like that, and then I would have been able to have that with an Athenia from my hand without even using my Altar, which would have been insane. if I had realized that was an actual play that I could have done within the confines of the event. But I learned that after the event had happened. But still, then again, we all learn. We all don't think the same as other people. You all have different cognitive functions. But overall, just a great card to recur. Powerful resonators like this, demos. Well, I mean, Lucifer could bring about itself back up, but if you can't pay the 10,000 life, then why are you bringing out Lucifer to begin with? Lich, the Athenias, Perfect Loki's, Man Transmuters, and everything like that. Just great, powerful cards to bring out with Commands of Life and Death. And I'm going to go over the Rune deck now. Cycle of Life and Death, Freedom Altar, Power of Mortality, Harvest Season, Path of Purgatory. Alright, so Path of Purgatory was basically there to send Satan and Lucifer's and the Fire Angels to the graveyard. Alternatively, you could always just send the Athenia and just do the play that I was talking about earlier. Being able to send a Satan to develop the board state late game is always a strong play. Harvesting Season, I mainly used later on in the game when I knew my opponent was going to be tapped out, or if I knew my opponent didn't have any graveyard hate, essentially. So I used it a lot against Isis, and I used it a lot against the Loki machine player. The Isis did not see a burial rights whatsoever, and the Loki machine player had no out to my graveyard, so we just abused it against him. Power of Mortality, simple enough, great combo enabler. Even then, if you just want to block with something and then make sure it comes back to life, it could up trade. Like, it could trade up to things and then it could come back to life as well. Or they could force you to force it to use a removal spell on it. Either way, it's a great card. Needs a lot of removal. Great reactionary plays, great combo enabler, things like that. Freedom Altar. Being able to search any resonator in your deck is great. What else could I say? Like, everyone wants a Demonic Tutor, right? But Demonic Tutor for Resonator specifically, so even then, still good. Cycle of Death, Mass Sacrifice. If anyone of you know Dictative Erebos, it's a great card. This is just a one-time Dictative Erebos, essentially. So being able to just sacrifice everything to make your opponent sacrifice things is very useful against problematic cards that had Eternal, like Deus Ex Machina, the Chimimi Resonator, the Alice Zeus Incarnate. That was great. Those are good on spot removal cards. But that had Eternal, so great sacrifice outlist for these. And I'm going to go over my side deck real fast. I should have actually taken it out. Silly me. So you're going to hear a lot more noises. So, first thing, we'll go over the Evil Elemental Uprising. I actually never cited these in the event. I felt like I never needed to use them. No one I really played against was really using Perfect Loki against me, so I never really felt like... I did play against a lot of graveyard-based decks, like all the Adam decks, essentially, and Brunhild, but I just never cited it in, honestly. It's still a great card to have, nonetheless. I cited these in more frequently often when I was playing against, when I played against the Loki machine player. I cited all of these in, just, again, more spot removal for machines. Like, just kill Lancelot, kill Guinevere, things like that. It probably would have helped me against the Adam player, maybe, so I could just kill off the Kaguyas, or if anything, but even then. And this is pretty much what I cited into against pretty much all day, that event, most of the time. I played against a lot of control players. These really hit the control players the most. This was honestly the best sideboard card I probably could have done with. Being able to bait out the Kaguyas and attempt to continue my plays. Or this, unfortunately, I always sided in them. I never got to use them, unfortunately, because my opponent never had the resonators unless they were going to be quick cast in, so I never got to use them on my turn. So regardless, great card overall still, but can be better, right? I still love Perfect Matrix. Again, the hand control aspect of the game is very nice. So that's mainly it. Oh, I should go over Lich's backside. This was actually very relevant to me in most games, because with Alter Lich, being able to grab tokens and then sack off tokens for more alters, or more alter counters, which is insanely valuable. Because whenever a Resonator dies, that's not a token, you get a token. So you're able to sack those tokens off as well. But yeah, otherwise, certain cards I would have probably added in. Obviously, Dark Alice. Graveyard Protection was very valuable this format. Slash Cycling. Cycling is always nice. Probably more Sephiroths if I was going more of a Harvest Corrupt build. More Sephiroths would have been nice with the Onlooking Vampire. I'm probably going to go back into a more Harvest Corrupt sort of build now that this is done, and I'm going to go towards more towards Cluster slash New Frontiers. But other than that, guys, oh, and then Magic Stone of Faith. Lich is a human. The 5-drop Athenia is also a human. So being able to make them not counterable is very relevant. So, oh, I'm going to play my 5-drop, use this. They Kaguya. Sorry, you can't counter it, boy. You can flash in your Kaguya without a response. Go for it. And then enter trigger not procs, sack your Kaguya. Be hilarious. Hilarious one day, hopefully. But yeah, this stone is very good, honestly. I wish I had remembered about this effect during the tournament, because, well, then again, a lot of people were playing Winds of Salvation, so, and Kaguya. So the ability of Winds of Salvation to just remove it from the chase regardless would not have mattered with the stone. But regardless, just being able to not be Kaguya would have been more valuable to me than anything else, because it prevents him from having a 7/7 body afterwards. But yeah, that's the deck, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry for the very, very late deck profile of this. I've been wanting to do this for quite some time. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's anything that you guys would have wanted to be in this deck rather than what you saw in here, and tell me why in the comments down below. I would love to see your guys' opinions. I still do have a Discord, still running, not as active as I would like it to be, but it's still there. People to talk. We all talk. The Tim squad talks there, and that's all that matters. So if you want to talk to the Tims or to myself, and you know, it's always nice to meet new people. It's always nice to meet people in general. But otherwise, talking about the event was very nice, and I hope to continue to see more events like this. Fan-made events are very, very nice, honestly. Jeremy did very insanely well in this sense. I can't believe he was able to pull all this together. I know. Alright, well, I gotta go. Have a good day, guys.